Gyökeres is here, and so are you. Welcome back to your English Aussie. Today I'm going to go through the best cheap, mid-price and premium forwards for you. Let's not waste any more time and let's jump straight into the action. So here we're going to take a look at the cheap forwards from 4.5 to 5 million. The top of the list here we have Chido Obi of Manchester United. As you can see, there's not much to choose from here in the cheap forwards section. Chido Obi potentially may get some minutes for Man United, having so far at the time of recording not managed to bring in another striker outside of the Cunha and Mbumo transfers. Chido Obi might get some minutes alongside Rasmus and Xerxes. Outside of that, on this list, I'm expecting Edouard to potentially leave Palace this year. I believe that Dane Scarlett has also been told to try and find a loan deal, while Lancashire is likely to be retained in the Tottenham side, however, probably not getting that many minutes. Mark Guay recently made a loan move to Sunderland, so there is some potential for him to get some minutes there. I'm sure that's factored in as a clause in his deal. However, I still think Isidore and Mayenda will most likely be the main strikers, with Guay being a backup. Outside of that, we got Kostulas here of Brighton. I think he might actually be a really nice pick at some point in the season. I think Hertzler's still getting him up to speed with the intensity of the Brighton press and the way they play, and therefore he's being slowly eased in the pre-season games. I expect Welbeck to start from game week 1. However, I do expect both Kostulas at 5 mil and Simas at 5.5 mil to take some minutes off him. Kostulas signed for around 15 million, I believe, from Olympiacos this season. And Nemetra at Leeds, I think also potentially could get some minutes. However, I do prefer Peroi at 5.5, who is most likely on penalties as well. On to the mid-price forwards, and just a quick shout out, guys. If you have been enjoying this video so far, please like down below, subscribe down below to the channel. It is a big help and I would really appreciate it. As a small content creator, it really does make a massive difference to me. So back into the video, and we have Raul and Strand Larsen at the top of this list. They were excellent value for money last season, and still with their price points this season come at the highest of the value. So value just being points divided by price. So the 147 points for Raul over the 6.5 million. And that comes out as what their value is for the season. So yeah, Raul and Strand Larsen both look really nice for me. Raul Jimenez has fantastic fixtures to start the season, and if Muniz does get transferred to Leeds, you know that Raul is going to be leading the line in every game, and he could be a fantastic pick at 6.5 million. Strand Larsen for me just looks fantastic. He's going to be on penalties for Wolves. No Cunha there this season. However, the fixtures for the first 4 game weeks are not that nice. From game week 5, he's almost a certainty to move into my side. Some other nice options, as I mentioned before, was Peroi at Leeds on penalties at 5.5 million. And Igor Thiago at Brentford, most likely going to lead the line. A lot of drama surrounding Wissa refusing to train with the Brentford squad at the moment. Even if he does end up at Brentford, I do expect Thiago to lead the line and Wissa probably to play as a second striker for them, similar to how he did when Ivan Toney was in the side. Some other options just to discuss here that to be careful with is Barry at Everton alongside Beto. They have been sharing minutes in pre-season, so don't expect Beto to be playing full 90 minutes every game. I think he will probably start game week 1, however, likely to be substituted early for Barry. And if he does take his chance, he may take those minutes off Beto in the future. Muniz, again, if he gets that move to Leeds, could be interesting at 5.5 million. Otherwise, I think is the backup to Raul Jimenez at Fulham, and probably doesn't quite make my team there. Danny Welbeck at Brighton, like I said, I expect him to start for game week 1, so he's probably good for the first few game weeks. However, I do expect Kostulas and Simas to take some minutes off him. He's obviously getting older as well, and they need to look after him throughout the season. Some other options just in this striking area, you can see obviously Rasmus and Xerxes. Isidore and Mayenda of Sunderland, they do have some nice fixtures over those first 3-4 game weeks. If you are looking to play a free hit in game week 2, Isidore, who's more likely to be on penalties if Patrick Roberts isn't playing, could be a nice pick, especially game weeks 1 and 3 out around that free hit in game week 2. Outside of that, not too many more players to discuss. So we'll move on to the premium forwards. So much to talk about here, and I haven't really highlighted anyone because almost everybody in this list is a nice pick, and it's just very difficult to pick between all of these forwards. Chris Wood, obviously just Chris Wood doing Chris Wood things last season. Great value for money. Can never really tell someone to go against Chris Wood, given the way that he manages to play FPL, always outperforms his XG, and just causes drama to fantasy Premier League managers that don't have him in their side all the time. Johan Wissa, let's see where he ends up. If he goes to Newcastle and becomes their main striker, and maybe Isak goes to Liverpool, he might be a great pick again at 7.5 million. Jarrod Bowen starts the season really well with Sunderland, Chelsea, Forest, Tottenham, Crystal Palace. From an attacking point of view, that's a reasonable opening 5 fixtures. He's obviously West Ham's main man and is almost involved in all the goals for them, so could still be a great pick for the start of the season. Ollie Watkins, similar after that first game against Newcastle, who are in a bit of disarray at the moment with Alex Isak, so might not be the worst opening fixture of them all. They have a really nice fixture run. Watkins has been in good form in pre-season, scoring in quite a few games. Alexander Isak, obviously, let's wait and see where he ends up. He might not be at Newcastle come the start of the season. Mateta at Crystal Palace, reasonable fixtures. I thought he sort of tailed off a little bit towards the end of last season. He's probably one of the guys that I wouldn't look to have in my team from the start of the season. Evan Nilsson at Bournemouth, I don't really like the fixtures. Liverpool is tough. Wolves is probably a good fixture. Spurs have been defensively excellent in pre-season, so maybe that green is no longer a green fixture. I might need to update my fixture difficulty tracker once this season begins. And then Brighton and Newcastle to round out that first 5. For me, although it's an attractive price point at 7 million, I probably would just avoid Evan Nilsson, especially considering Kluivert is on penalties for them. João Pedro at 7.5, obviously a really nice price point. Chelsea with some great fixtures. I don't expect him to be playing the 90 minutes though. I expect him to be getting early subs in most of the games for Chelsea, coming off around 70 minutes. Is my expectation for him, with Liam Delap also being in the side and Nicholas Jackson being around potentially after his game week 1 suspension. Solanke for Spurs, I think, has amazing fixtures, most likely going to be on penalties with Son missing out for the majority of the games, given that Thomas Frank does not have him in his first choice team plans. I think Solanke's an excellent option, especially if you're free hitting in game week 2 where he has Man City, although Spurs do love a good goal against Man City usually. Havertz is probably the only one on this list for me who's not a good option, with Gyökeres coming into that Arsenal team. He got his first minutes off the bench against Spurs in pre-season. Only 13 minutes, but enough to suggest to me that if he plays from the start in the next game, he will likely be starting in game week 1 against Manchester United. At 9 million, I think he is undervalued and a really nice price point. I think the call has got to be between him and Haaland for game week 1. You can only fit one of them into your side. Which one are you going to go for is probably the main decision to make. Haaland's fixtures are exceptional. He scores most. He's probably the team that he scored most against is Wolverhampton Wanderers, and probably Man United up there in the top 4-5. So those first 4 fixtures are fantastic for him. He does tend to struggle a little bit more against the big teams. So Erling Haaland for those first 4-5 game weeks just might be somebody that you want in your team. Can you fit him in at 14 million? Who knows? If you have enjoyed this video, guys, please remember to give us a like, subscribe down below to the channel. Like I said, it really does help as a small content creator, help YouTube push this out to more people and help me continue to produce good content for you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. This has been your English Aussie. Have a great game week. See you later.